All right.
All right.
Back again with our Sportsmanlike Conduct Week 2 NFL picks. Our 5 locks against the spread. This is the Robbie Gentry edition.
The best edition.
The best edition?
Yeah, well, you won't.
I think you had a couple picks same as Greg, but...
Yeah. No, I don't think so.
Oh, you had one.
Just
one, okay.
I'll start off with Carolina. They're playing the Bucs this week. They're minus 3.5. If you look at that game, you see the Bucs won last week against the Browns. I think the Browns, we've talked about it, the Browns had the absolute wrong game plan going in. Jerome Harrison carried the ball a whopping 9 times that game. 9 times. Against, it's not a good run defense for the Bucs. I think Jonathan Stewart and D'Angelo Williams are going to just torch the Bucs offense, or the Bucs defense, excuse me. And I don't see. The Carolina defense is not great. I do see the Bucs maybe will put some points. Josh Freeman making some plays with his feet. You saw it against the Browns. I just don't see him keeping it close throughout the entire game. I think their defense is going to get worn out by the running game, and it's just going to be. I think that's.
They just have to win by a touchdown.
Yeah, that's it.
I agree. The Bucs last week were down 14-3 against Cleveland before that big play by Rondé Barber. They were by all rights getting crushed by Cleveland, and then the momentum swing, and they made a play, but I'm still not sure which team they are. They're not going to do anything consistently. They could easily be that team that showed up in the first half, and not catch a break. Let's face it, Rondé Barber's not going to do that every week.
Plus, Cleveland was playing with the lead and still not running the ball against the Bucs.
They made it worse because they weren't running the clock out. So
it just didn't make sense.
Anyway, next pick is taking the under on the Baltimore-Cincy game. It's 40 on that game. That's just going to be a defensive struggle. Baltimore's got an obviously great defense. You saw on Monday Night Football with the Jets. They held the Jets to 9 points.
How many first downs did the Jets have? 3, 4?
It was just stupid. 5,
maybe?
They hurt themselves a lot with penalties, which attributed to that a little bit, but still, Baltimore defense was just playing out of their mind. You see, they are aging a little bit. You can make that argument, but Cincy does have a lot of weapons. They have Carson Palmer, you got Ocho Cinco, you got Terrell Owens, so you've got some weapons there. I'm still taking the under on that because Baltimore, it's just going to be a defensitive battle. I just see that being a 14-10 game, just a real low-scoring game.
I'm more scared of Baltimore's offense than Cincy's.
Well, with Ray Rice, and then I see who's running to me is just so scared of me. Yeah, you're right. Yeah,
the running game was just dominant.
Yeah,
great offensive line.
I think Cincy's defense feels like they played way below their own standards in Week 1, so I think they're going to come out Week 2 looking to save some face.
And the Patriots did everything. They scored on every facet of their game. The Patriots
ran into a buzzsaw.
Yeah, it was just everything. And so Cincy did have a lot of points, but I'm still taking the under on that one. Green with Greg on 1. I saw the line at 13 on the Green Bay game. I'll stick with 4. I'll take 14.
Whatever.
There's no.
These lines moving. I think our picks. These lines moving by a point here and there are not affect our lock picks.
13-14.
No. It could affect it, but I don't know that it's going to affect whether or not we're going to pick it because these are our strongest picks. I think we feel like they're going to cover by more than 1 point. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I think. We could learn by it.
Absolutely. Obviously, you take it as when you're putting money on these games, you take any point.
But when you're looking at the teams, though,
we're making a difference on the field.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
No doubt.
When you're looking at the teams, though, you're looking at Green Bay and Buffalo. I'm fine. I'll give you that point. I'll give you a few more points if you want. I'll let it go
more than 14. Wow.
I'll do it. If you want to take that bet out there, let me know because I'll do it. The one that I don't think either of these guys have is Kansas City getting 3 points. They're getting 3 points at the Browns. We just talked about the Browns playing the Bucs. Jake Delhomme question mark. They're getting 3.
The Browns are favored.
The Browns are favored
at home. In Cleveland.
Right. Kansas City. Yeah. You saw them against San Diego. Their offense wasn't great. The running game was good. Matt Castle 73 yards passing that game.
It was like 68, I think.
Was it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, he was 10 of 22.
And
it wasn't pretty.
I will say this: I think the conditions may have affected a little bit, but
it definitely did.
Some of the drop balls, but some of them were bad decisions by Matt Castle. He was thrown into coverage; they were getting knocked down. It wasn't all just people just dropping passes. But obviously, they have a great running game. The thing to me, though, is the Kansas City defense. I thought looked really good against San Diego. You got Javier Arenas and Eric Berry back there. I thought Javier Arenas played a great game.
Javier Arenas added some electricity to the return games,
and that's the X factor to me is Kansas City. They have amazing return guys. Hogg didn't have a return under like 30 yards or something like that. He had 2 30-yard returns. McCluster returned one for a touchdown. Kansas City's going to be getting the ball with good field position. And against a Browns team that's not very good, give me 3 on Kansas City, and that's fine with me. I think they win the game. But if they lose, I don't see it being by more than a point, maybe 2.
That's true.
But
I feel like the Browns have no identity right now.
And Jake Delhomme, game time decision. Yeah.
Their best player is Josh Cribbs.
Yeah.
How do they don't even know how to get him the ball?
On Tampa Bay
I know.
Before that big mistake. I mean,
which is fine. But it's Tampa Bay.
Still. I can't really argue with that Kansas City thing.
Kansas City, I mean, how sold are you on Kansas City? Because they looked good in the rain against San Diego.
No, I'm not that sold on Kansas City.
But a lot of the plays they made, did their offense really look that good? No, most of their plays were made in special teams.
That's what I'm saying. Though.
I would impressed anything that they've done. Like, you can't count on a team making special teams plays.
I will take their Kansas City special teams and their defense over anything that you give me for the Browns.
I like the play. That's just why it's not in my top 5. I'm not really sold with anything that Kansas City did.
The running game was good. The running game was good.
5 yards a carry.
The running game was good. You can't dispute that. Thomas Jones.
I'll take Cleveland's run defense over San Diego's run defense.
They do have with the
Sean Rogers.
Well, they have their defensive coordinators, Ryan, so he's obviously pretty defensive minded and really good at
There is a lot of hype around this Kansas City team. I think they're playing with a lot of confidence. I like the pick. The reason it's not my top 5 is because they didn't do anything that you could really staple your team to.
But
I think you might be able to start stapling your team to their return game at least.
Just kick it out of bounds.
But then you're still getting good field position.
Problem solved. You give them decent field position. Well, I mean, you just angle it. But you get a couple good kicks in there.
Fine. But I will take. I think Matt Castle's going to throw for more than 69 yards against the Browns. There's no way that doesn't happen.
He has to.
He has to. He's too good of a quarterback for that not to happen.
Got to move on.
Couple of
young
players.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry.
Eric Wright, Joe Hayden, Cleveland defense, Sean Rogers. I think there's a basis there. So
I'm not disputing that at all.
I like the young talent on Cleveland.
This is one that's going to piss Rob off. I'm taking. This is kind of like my. It's my lock. It's a lock.
I can understand the logic on it.
I'm taking Indy, giving up 5 on the Giants. Indy got beat last week by the Texans. I just think they come out and just smoke the Giants. The Giants do have a pretty good defense. I still think they're in transition. Their front 4 is really good. I'm not sold on their secondary covering Reggie Wayne, Austin Collie, Dallas Clark, and Pierre Garçon. And Anthony Gonzalez now. I mean, what do they do? As a Giants defense, what are you going to do? Who are you double teaming?
I have an easy answer for you, and I honestly I could be wrong, but if I had to pick this game, which I wouldn't, if I absolutely had to put something in this game, I would take the Giants.
Really?
Because
on the road,
Indy just does not run the ball. Indy, to cover that spread, is going to have to run the ball. You have to run the ball. Because the Giants live off situations where it's a definite passing down. Because all they want to do is come off the corner. Their team they don't even have defensive tackles. They have like 6 defensive ends, and they just rush the corners all day. And then their corners depend on that bad throws, and they pick people off. That's what they do. Any defense wants to be in that situation where it's just they're going to pass if their running game is that bad. That's almost the point that Indy is at right now.
I think it's going to be a high-scoring game. I think the Giants' strategy is going to be if their defense softens a little bit. The Giants are going to try to just outscore the Colts,
which is what they might be able to do.
I think they can.
And I think they're in a situation though where they might be able to make enough stops. That being said, even when they can't run the ball, Indy's so good and Peyton Manning is so good that they still end up putting up enough points on the board to win.
It's a tough game to pick to me, but I see the Colts are so good, and Peyton Manning is the kind of guy that is not going to take that week 1 loss. They're not going to take that week 1 loss well. They're going to come out with a purpose in this game.
When has Indy ever thrown or run the ball against anybody? I mean, they beat teams all the time. We can talk about the Giants and that's how they live, whatever. Still, Indy comes out and just dominates people, even without running the ball. They've never been able to run the ball.
That's true.
The Giants have a very good offense, though, Rob.
I know.
Maybe the most underrated in the game.
I thought they scored more points than. I thought it was just kind of they're playing Carolina. They weren't that good.
Eli Manning comes out for big.
Carolina giving up 3.5, taking Carolina the under on the Baltimore-Cincinnati game. Green Bay 14 points, taking them, giving up. Kansas City getting 3, and Indy giving up 5 at the versus the Giants at home.
All right, there you have it. Robbie's Week 2 loss.